gonna be you.
Welcome back to Giggles and Gains. I have got Lucy from CBL Pro with me today. She is, well, we literally met probably a year ago.
You know what it was? We were on the table, remember, in an event that we met in, and we were just gabbing and gabbing. And we were sitting there, it was like 40 minutes had gone by, and we were like, oh yeah, what's your name again?
Shit, we need to go back to the thing. She's actually travelled all the way down from Liverpool to be here today, so I am super honoured and really grateful.
Thanks, George.
And we are literally... Well, do you know what? I'm just going to let Lucy introduce herself. We're probably not going to stop talking between us. We'll try and talk a little bit slower than what we normally do.
Because when you're picking up them voice notes, you're like, Lucy, what is going on there?
You're probably the only person I can't play your voice notes in 2 times speed. I have to go 1.5.
Literally, it's Scousers. So, hi guys, I'm Lucy and I am the face of CBL, so coached by Luce. So, Katie, I think we've probably got a lot in common, really, because I think that's why we get on so well, because we share the same values and everything. So, obviously, we help females who want to achieve sustainable fat loss. We offer a similar service in terms of help, accountability, community, and we share like the same vision as we want to get women confidence and as well have that balance. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would 100% agree. We've got a slightly different client bases.
Yeah.
So the difference between mine and yours is I help men and women.
Yeah.
Probably broader age range as well. Whereas you're probably a smaller age range. You're probably between like 23 to like 40.
Maybe 45ish, but mostly probably a smaller age range. But we just do women.
Yeah,
we help
sure.
women. I used to PT men as well. But then I feel like for me, I just want to focus on women and what they struggle with mostly, even just helping women, perimenopause and, just going through what women struggle with. I feel like it's completely different to males.
Yeah, 100%. I think, though, from your life experiences and what you've been through, having a daughter, you are going to be more relatable to those mums, whereas I work with women who have had children, but I also am massively relatable to men, and that's, I think, down to my personality.
Not even that, because you're so strong and men want to be strong, and sometimes men don't like approaching males to train them. They like training women, and that's what I found with some males that I used to train 1-to-1 years ago. They feel more comfortable with a woman, and that's good. And you know what? If women feel more comfortable with a man, so it's like it works both ways, doesn't it, I suppose?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
What do you think the biggest struggle is for like your client base specifically at the moment?
So I honestly think it's, again, the internet. Like, obviously Instagram's how many years old, like 7 years old maybe, and I feel like it's just getting worse and worse. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, even the other day I was literally having a bath and I thought, let me go on and have a little mooch on the Explore page, because I don't really do it much now, because I think it just drives me mad going on there and seeing so much conflict information. But people are just so confused. Even when I'm speaking to people all the time, they're like, I'm just even more confused. Like, I'm trying to be dead good. I'm trying to just go back to all natural foods. And I'm like, whoa, you've got a lot of underlying issues. There's a lot of binging going on. There's 15 years pre-binging. There's got to be more than just cutting out food straight away. Like, you've got to be, these women as well that we're helping, a lot of them are mums, a lot of them aren't, but in reality everyone wants the same thing. They want a balance, they want to have a nice life, they want to live normally, and that's something I do as well. I feel like, being in the fitness industry as well, not just normal people, shall we say, but even people that work in the fitness industry, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on us just to be like, because there's more bodybuilding, there's more this, there's more people doing extreme stuff.
Oh my God, massively.
Yeah,
like,
do you feel like that?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's really funny because David and I did a couple of contact days recently, and we did one when I first got back from holiday, and the first thing I said to Dale was, I need to drop those 2 kilos that I've just put on, like, quick, because you can see it in your content. You don't feel as comfortable in your content. So if I feel like that as a coach,
exactly,
imagine how my clients feel, and they're looking at like all of these amazing bodies that might not be photoshopped, they're airbrushed, they're professional photos, they look incredible, and they're like with their normal body, and they're like, well, is this enough?
Exactly.
Should this be enough? I've got a little bug. Hi, bug. Joining me. We've moved outside. But not only that as well, it's like there's so much conflicting information. Like, you've got this point now where women have got these emotional eating problems, and then they're like, should I track? Well, if I track, sometimes I feel restricted. Or shouldn't I track? I should be intuitively eating. And I think they have to go through a process. Like, I think calorie tracking and actually educating yourself on the types of food that you need to be eating and the foods that align with you and your body. But the tracking gives you an element to have a bit more balance at the weekends. But then equally, I'm 15 years in the industry. I don't track anymore, I intuitively eat. But it's because I've done the bit.
And that's what people don't see. People are seeing people on Instagram who aren't you know, tracking anymore, but it's like you have to do that process in order to intuitively eat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think as well, like, people get that mixed up because a lot of people say to me, I've done the tracking and I don't like it. But it's like, at the same time, if you want that balance, if you want to go out on the weekend, you need to have the knowledge of what is in food. If you don't have the knowledge, then what is plan B? Is it a food plan? Because that to me is restrictive.
Do you think they
And people
don't want to do it though because they think it's hard work?
No, I think, you know what I think it is with people, right? People think that, okay, I'm a big binger, so I can't track. But it's like, right, okay, you're a binger because you've got no education about food. You don't know the right foods that you should be eating. And you know, being in a fat loss phase is more than just calories in versus calories out. You're probably not full on the food you're eating, so you think it doesn't work. And then you're scared of that, you know, overeating binge. And people probably, yeah, like you're saying, there's probably an element of, I don't track everything. So it's like people don't know how to actually get through the fat loss phase, essentially, to then have a normal life where they don't have to track anymore. Would you agree there?
100% agree. You've just literally said something. So when I started coaching, me and Luce were having a lot of conversations about kind of like, I was trying to find my way with what I liked. And one of the biggest things that I've taken from you is the way that you phase your transformations. And I have now done the same, probably for about 7 months now, and the results are so much better. Can you tell me more about the phases of a transformation for a client from your point of view?
So what we always do as well, because I feel like the word transformation, right, I was a bit like, transformation, I don't like using that word so much, but because, again, it's the internet, isn't it? Like, people will look on, like, maybe bodybuilders and see a transformation from a bodybuilder, but in reality, I always say follow people that align with you, and then you'll kind of, you know, it's better if you follow people that align with you, isn't it? So in terms of transformation, what we do is we would never bring anyone into our coaching without going through the 3-step process that we go through. Habit building first, and then once you've built those habits initially, everything will then start falling into place, and naturally you will start losing weight, because again, you will have, you know, fixed your relationship with food. But again, the first habit building phase for us is all literally about learning about food, you know, knowing what your life was like before and what it's like now, the routine that you need to adapt to, your family life, your lifestyle, your work routine, because as well, people are trying to get results and they don't actually have any routine, and it's because they're trying to follow a routine that they had years ago before kids or before a busy job. So it's like they're always running back to that, but it doesn't work. You have to adapt a new routine. So we have our habit building process, our building process, so we build muscle, get leaner, and then we have our reverse dieting process, which again is so important, because something I always say as well to our clients is when I'm on calls with people is, unless you're willing to go through that 3-step process, we won't bring you on. And that's because we don't want to fix a quick transformation. We want you to actually learn along the way, know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then be able to then reverse those calories up, so then you can just go off into the world and live normally.
So for somebody to actually do a sustainable transformation, how long do you think they'd need to be with you?
So and this is the thing, people say to us all the time, like, how long is it? And I'm like, how long's a piece of string? Because some people come on and they're like, I don't know why I'm not losing weight, I just need to do this and that. But then when you're speaking to the person and you get to know the person and you're seeing them day in, day out, you're seeing what they're tracking, you're working with them every day, it's like, okay, they need more help than what they thought. Some people know how to track calories, some people don't. Some people are having socials week in, week out. So all these, you know, all these things all obviously contribute to how long it's going to be.
Yeah.
So I always say give it a good 6 to 9 months to get your body fat level down, and not even that, build habits. Give yourself time to build habits. People are so obsessed with, oh, I need to lose weight, but it's like, well, the reason you've never lost weight is because you've never developed the fucking habits in the first place. So take time developing the habits, take time learning in the journey. That way it's just going to become second nature to you. So that's the thing as well. I think, like, with our girls, it is, I always say it's a lifestyle change, and it's so important because we won't bring anyone into the coaching without wanting to do the lifestyle change, because it won't work.
Absolutely. And this goes back to, like, what we see on the internet, and I'm sorry if this is going to be conflicting to everyone on the internet. Fucking 8 to 12 week transformation challenges are absolute bullshit.
It's a bullshit.
Like, if you think about habit building, like, people say you can build habits in 30 days. You can't. I'm sorry. I'm throwing it out there. You can't. Like, you are not going to go through 30 days worth of stress, anxiety, something cropping up at work, your kid being off sick,
100%.
all of those things
Periods.
in 30 days, periods. But what you're going to do over a 12-week period, you're going to go through an actual habit building phase where you can actually learn the skills that you need for it to be sustainable. So if you do 12 weeks, you've done the habit building, you've probably lost, I don't know, let's say 4 kilograms. That's not, you finished your journey.
No, and it's
you've
not
just started it.
If you're literally thinking you're getting out your journey at that point where you've lost the 4 kilo, you've not learned anything along the way because it's literally just been a rush, hasn't it? Like, I always say to people as well, the word challenge is a race to the top. So, like, yeah, all right, you might lose a couple of pounds before your holiday, but then you're just going to regain it back. And bearing in mind, once you've regained that weight back after your holiday, let's say, you're not going to know how many calories to go back to, why you're on them calories in the first place. You know, you're not going to be able to fit all the extensive cardio you're probably doing to lose the weight initially. So where are you left from there? Where'd you go?
Absolutely. And that then links into like what Lucy said about reverse dieting. So reverse dieting is like a massive process. It
is.
Like, for you guys that are listening, it's an actual process. Like, it's taking you out of that deficit where you've been in for probably 6 months and actually taking you out of that deficit phase by gradually increasing your calories, reducing your movement, and actually starting to build some lean muscle. Because without going through that journey, how many of you do like a 12-week transformation? You just end up back at the start again.
Literally.
Because you're not done that reverse phase. That reverse phase is one of the most critical points. When you're in the build phase, which is what Lucy talked about, you are going to be building lean muscle. And the reason you want to build lean muscle is because you're going to want to eat more food. Like, we all want to eat more food.
You can't eat more food unless you build more.
Yeah,
unless
absolutely.
you build lean muscle, reduce your body fat level, and then, you know, you've already got the habits and things. You're walking more. You know, you're intuitively eating. Like, everything will fall into place because them habits that you took from phase 1 will naturally just fall into place in the reverse dieting phase. So, and that's the thing as well, like, people are so confused why this person can eat X amount of calories or their coach can eat it, and it's because they've went through this 3-step process.
Tell me an example of a client that you've taken and what were their deficit calories and what were their...
I'll take me for example. Cause
yeah, go for it.
You know what, right, obviously years ago, because I've done it all, guys. I've done all the quick fixes, the no carbs, this, that and the other. So, you know what, actually a good example would be when I had V, because it was COVID and I had the worst morning sickness ever. I literally couldn't eat. I was literally the first trimester, for 16 weeks I was living on cucumber sticks, hummus and corn chicken nuggets, right? Couldn't stomach anything. So, right,
so nutritious.
So nutritious.
Do as I do.
No. Literally, I was like this on the couch all day. I go, oh my God, when's this going to go? And honestly, right, I lost so much muscle mass. Like, I just seen it, like, literally after, like, 6 months of being pregnant, I was like, oh my God, everything about me's changed. The gyms are closed. It was COVID. You know, it was just a hot mess. Everything was a hot mess. Anyway, had the baby. You know, after 4 weeks, I was like, right, I'm getting back in the gym. Can't take this no more. I was mentally as well. I was struggling. Do you know what I mean? I was breastfeeding. I was like, I need some type of escape, so I'm going back to the gym. Bearing in mind, I took pictures and I was like, where do I go from here? Because I'm now eating around 1,600 calories and I wouldn't say I was gaining weight, nowhere near gaining weight, but I wasn't where I wanted to be. I'd lost loads of muscle. I'd obviously gained a lot of body fat as well from having the baby. My body had completely changed. So I had to start again. I literally had to start on 1,700 calories. Bearing in mind, when I found out I was pregnant, I was eating about 2,700 and staying lean. So for me, I had to start that whole process again. So I literally spent 5 solid months in a good deficit, but I was training 2 to 3 days a week, hard, intense. And, you know, eventually I lost a good amount of body fat, built a good amount of muscle tissue, and then I was able to then bring those calories up over time. But again, you know, that comes from doing the hard stuff. It comes from doing the deficit. You know, it comes to getting to the point where, okay, I've lost that much body fat, I'm building muscle, I'm now able to bring those calories up. But I think as well, for people, they find it so hard to give things time. Like, I was saying this the other day to the coaches, people, everything's so convenient nowadays. You order a Deliveroo and it's on your path in 45 minutes. You order a pretty little thing, it comes the next day. People expect the same with fat loss and they're getting sold it online, but it's like, no, it doesn't work like this. Like, yeah, or anyone can go into a 6-week shred and shreds for 6 weeks, but then you're left in a shitter when you're finished. Do you know what I mean? You're left in a shitter.
How long did that phase take you? So from having V to then getting to the point where you could then reverse your calories back to...
I'd say a good 8 months.
8 months.
But that was because as well I was taking it in my stride, because as well I was breastfeeding. So I was like, I'm bringing the calories up. And when I say up, they were still at like 2,000, you know, after like 4 months. But for me to get to a good 2,700, it took me like 8 months.
Yeah.
So the thing is as well, like, people need to give it time. And people are so impatient, but it's like what you've got to think about is how long are you actually going to spend going back to the quick fixes? Because that, to me, fast fat loss is so fucking slow.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if you invest 6 to 9 months into your life, into your habits, into building muscle, into getting stronger, and just having a different outlook on fat loss, you are going to get your goal. There's no doubt about it. If you're getting the right help and, you know, the right support off a coach that aligns with you, you will get the help that you need. Whereas if you're going into these 6-week shreds, like, you know, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a fucking shred.
Let's talk about that though, because we have me and Lucy probably talk every day.
Oh my God. If I don't reply by 10 o'clock, Katie's like, are you alive?
Like, yeah, like if it gets to like the next day and I've not heard from her and I'm like, are you all right?
Are you alive? Are you dead?
And vice versa. We have noticed like a massive shift in the industry this year, like huge. Like it's literally my first full year now. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
And it's my first full year in business. And then last year was so much different to what it is this year. And actually the industry has kind of shifted a little bit. The economy, let's actually talk about that. The economy's changed. Like people have not got as much disposable income at the minute. And there's a lot of other coaches that are capitalising on that because they're doing like big hitting low ticket offerings.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example. You've got like your apps with your online workouts on and you'd follow them in the morning and they might throw some calories at you, but you don't really get a check-in, or if you do, nobody really checks upon you and you're probably paying like £25 a month. And then you've got the other end of the scale, haven't you, which is personalised, bespoke online coaching, which is where a client gets one-to-one support. They get support around their nutrition, where we actually coach them through making their food choices, building routines around their food, making sure that it fits within their lifestyle so they can have the social events at the weekend. They can go out for a coffee and a cake with their kids. And then you've got the training programme. And that training programme is periodized, it's progressive overload, it's allowing them to build muscle and grow into the program. And then the last bit's the bit that we do, which is the coaching. I'll give an example. I had a lad this morning that I'm coaching. He's an autistic guy and he's been on his second ever date.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Night. And
that is amazing.
Last night the girl unfortunately unfollowed him on Bumble and blocked him. And he initially texted me and he sent me his message through and he was like, oh, this has happened, and I just literally voice noted him on the spot. Saturday night I was out bowling with Dell and I said, like, you are not defined by whether this girl wants you. Like, you need to be with somebody who wants you back.
Exactly.
And actually you've grown so much in confidence in the year that we've been working together. You've gone on a date. Like, you would have never gone on a date before. You're going out with your friends, and that is what you don't get for £25 a month.
Exactly.
What is your opinion on how the economy has changed and how it's impacted your clients and also your business?
It is sad because I think to myself, like, obviously the economy's changed, you know, obviously the price of living's went up, hasn't it?
Yeah, massively.
So the economy's changed, the cost of living's increased, and obviously people are just left. And I feel it is so bad because I've got a lot of clients as well who literally invest in the coaching because it's a priority to them, and it's like sometimes
they can't live without it.
They can't live without it. Not even that, like, it helps people feel better, it helps people live their best selves, become the best version of them. But the thing is as well, I think with the price of living, it's hard because then people start to look at the coaching and like, I'm just going to go for the cheaper option. Yeah. So like, say if you're someone that's coming into the, you know, who wants to change, and they're like, well, this person's offering something I know is going to help me, but then this other person's offering £30 a month, I'm just going to have to opt with that because I've got no choice. But then what they don't realise from that is these people are doing like no chocolate for the fucking 20 days, or no this, no that. It's like, where does that leave you after that's done? In a worse position. Like, my sister was telling me this the other day, actually. She was speaking to somebody who started in work, again, you know, a know this, know that programme, and she said, well, what are they telling you to do? Train 6 days a week. I'm 3 days in and I've already caved. I've went to Mackey's, I've got a Lotus a milkshake or whatever it is. And she was like, well, how are you feeling now? She says, I feel worse. But again, it's not helping. It's not helping anybody's relationship with food. These programmes make it worse.
And it's not like getting to know clients because, like, I'm not going to lie, I cannot train 6 days a week.
I couldn't. Would you want to train 6 days a week? Because I just feel like I want to have a good relationship with training, and I feel, to me, a good relationship's having a balance. And that's the thing, like I say as well, like, why do coaches, like, this is the thing, like, you've got, you know, personalised coaching, and you've got the other end of the spectrum where it's like restriction, and then it makes it harder for us then when them clients do end up coming to us, because it's like we're trying to help them get through all these things that they've experienced, and then they're like, well, how can I lose weight having a chocolate bar a day, or, you know, training less? And it's because them people who on the other side are just not helping them, not educating them, and it's like they are just basically not aligning with the people that they're coaching.
Yeah, you have to train 6 days a week to get results, and that is absolutely not
bullshit.
The case at all.
Absolute
like
bullshit.
You said, if you...
Sorry, Axel. Axel, come here, love.
If you trained 6 days a week, you wouldn't enjoy it.
Are you going to sustain it?
Are you going to sustain it? No,
like,
but they tell them that you need to train that often to get results. Like, you've got to be doing your 3 upper body, your 3 lower body, and actually it's fucking overtraining. You're not going to build muscle like that.
I always say this to my girls as well. It's quality over quantity, regardless of how many times you're training. The people that are going to the gym 6 days a week, they're getting dead sweaty. You know, all right, oh yeah, that killed me. That's what they say. That killed me. Oh, I love it. It kills me off. But it's like you're doing loads of burpees, loads of cardio. You are not working nowhere near as hard, as someone who's going to the gym and lifting weights 3 days a week, because you haven't physically got the energy to put what is necessary into that workout over someone who's going 3 days a week and preserving that energy and actually utilising it into the workout.
There's a difference between going and following a progressive program where you're getting stronger and you're building muscle to going and sweating.
Not even that. Do you think it's crazy the way a lot of these online programs just literally doing the same thing for 100 people?
Oh my God,
Tell
massively.
me how that is going to help 100 people, because every single person's different. So how is everybody going to get results?
Exactly.
So it's half robbery. I personally think.
A call this week with a lady who had fibromyalgia. I probably butchered the pronunciation of that, so I apologise. And she was actually really worried about coming on the call because she was like, the second we started talking, I started to get to know her, I knew what she needed.
Yeah.
And it's like she just couldn't believe that there was that personalisation behind it. She just thought it was going to be a generic thing where she was going to get a training programme. And I was like, no, like, we're not going to get you in the gym straight away. We're going to get you swimming a little bit more. We're going to get you moving a little bit more.
Just doing things that you like to do.
Yeah, because otherwise that's going to have, again, she's already knackered. It's going to have such a negative impact on her motivation. And I've said this time and time again. Motivation gets you started, it gets you through the door, that first pound gets you through the door, but the phases of a fat loss journey and the phases of a fitness journey and building the habits and building the routine, that is what keeps you going. Like, I don't need to be motivated now because I know that if I go for a walk first thing in the morning, I'm gonna feel good.
Not even that. I always say motivation comes from originally when someone's motivated, and this is what a lot of people struggle with. They're like, I'm just not motivated, I need this. And it's like, no, what it is the reason you're not motivated is because you've started your journey, because you've been inspired by something you've either seen or a feeling that you felt, oh, I want to do this. And then obviously you go off that feeling of like, I'm motivated, but then after a week the motivation dips because not everybody is going to be fixated.
On your period,
or
the energy drops.
Not even that. People might think like, oh, I don't want to train now and, you know, lose weight. I might want to do that later on in life. And it's like, so you've got to have something more than motivation keeping you going. It's got to be a habit that is installed, and you've got to have discipline, because you've got to see through. And this is what I always say. I don't know if you say this to your girls, but you know, I always want people to come through our door and have, okay, yeah, I want to be better. I want to have a fat loss goal, essentially, because it's going to get me more confidence. Yeah. But as well, I want you to have a goal of getting stronger, you know, having other wants in life, not just fat loss, because that way you're going to want to do it when then, you know, there's hard days that come, or, you know, you're not feeling like you want to get out of bed, but you do it because there's more to it than just, I want to look 100%. A certain way.
Like, you have to give people a purpose. Like, Jesus Christ, if I said to you, hey, you need to lose 10 kilograms and we're going to do it over like 16 weeks, then we're going to reverse diet you out. And you'd be like, and that's the only thing I've got to focus on. When ladies or guys sign up with me, we have a call literally within week 2. Yeah. And the goals that I ask them to give me are not just, I want to lose weight. Exactly. I want to fit into this size clothes. It's, well, what's your specific goal that we can measure? How do you want to feel? What is your performance goal? Yeah. And finally, a fuck it goal. So whether that's like, I'm going on holiday, or I've got a wedding to get ready for, or just a dress you want to fit into, or you want to run around with your kids.
Exactly. And Katie, do you think as well people don't realise how much they benefit from these check-ins? Like, because not even that, what we do in the check-ins as well is we ask people to be open and honest, and that's the kind of relationship that we've got with our clients. Like, you know, if they haven't had a perfect week, they can tell us, because it's not our camp, it's women helping women. And the thing is, you know, we want our clients to be 1% better each week, and that's not by constantly being perfect, but it's what it is by is basically realising, okay, well, I didn't do this week, but what I'm going to do next week is this. And it's okay if, you know, I didn't stick with my calories this weekend, because I still had an amazing time, and in a year's time I'm not going to look back and be like, oh my god, that 200 calories from that Aperol Spritz or whatever and that beer I didn't stick with. But you know what, they're going to look at the memory, and I think that's as well what they learn along the way is that positive outlook on food, and the fact that, you know, it does, you know, a fat loss journey doesn't have to be negative, it can be positive, but as well it's the journey along the way, week to week, and how somebody grows within the mindset.
Massively. Yeah, but that's what society has taught us. Society has taught us that food is fucking good or bad. You have a good workout, you have a bad workout. No. Yeah. Like, food has high calories.
Exactly.
Some foods have high calories, i.e. your Chinese. it's not, it has its place if you fucking want it.
Exactly.
And then you've got your low calorie food, let's use celery, because that's fucking burns calories while eating it. And that has its place as well. Like, they're not good or bad, they're just foods. And the same with your workouts. Like, every single fucking session that you turn up to at the gym is never a bad session because you've got it done.
Up and you've ticked that box.
Oh my God.
Not even that. I think as well, like, people think when they eat food, it's like, oh my God, there's a piece of bread. My body's seeing it as a piece of bread. No. It's carbohydrates, like not even that. Your body sees it as more nutritious, less nutritious. Whereas now we're looking on the internet and you've got people screaming, this is going to kill you, this is this is that. Just like people are terrified to eat. And it's like you see coaches eating sourdough, you'll see people eating bread, you see coaches eating pasta, but then other coaches are telling people, don't eat this, don't eat that. So it's like, you know, it is so conflicting. But it's like, where do we go from here? Because in reality, I feel, again, it all comes back to having a good relationship with food, doesn't it? And having the knowledge behind it so that when you see it on the internet,
absolutely,
you know, okay, well, you know what, there's this dickhead here shouting the odds about I can't have this. But then, you know, I know that that's just his opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is what I know is better for me. And this is what I want to do. And having that, you know, knowledge behind food so that you can make that decision yourself rather than making it out of a scared.
Let's like talk about that though, because like carbs, oh my God, carbs.
Oh my
okay,
God.
Let's talk about the science behind carbohydrates. So if you eat carbohydrates, ladies, you are going to gain fat. You're not going to gain fat, number one, but you are going to be a little bit more bloated.
Yeah.
And that is normal. And the reason it's normal is because when you eat complex carbohydrates, you hold anywhere between 3 to 4 grams of water per gram of carb. So it's going to go in the morning. You didn't get fat from eating some fucking bread.
Not even that.
You just got a little bit of water retention.
Not even that. What I think as well is that's another thing actually that you've just touched upon there is people say, I've got something I'm eating, isn't agreeing with me because I'm bloating. Bloating is normal. Women are going to bloat. Two weeks of the month, you're going to bloat. I bloat a lot. But that's because as well, I eat a lot of fibre. So like, we're not taught what is... Like, again, people are just honed in on the fact that bloating is bad, but it's like, we all bloat, let's normalise it. And I think as well, like, again, there's a lot of, you know... Is everything okay?
Yeah. No. Well, Axel's trying to get somebody to play with him.
Oh, Janae, play with Axel.
He's like...
Janae's not really a dog person, are you, Janae?
It was when Axel ran at his crotch earlier, I thought he was like, he's going to put a tackle on.
But yeah, I think as well, like, you know what, right, as well, it's what clients think about carbs before they come to you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I had somebody actually not long ago, right, who's a really, really slim build, and she'd been to somebody previous, and she literally was like, I'm just scared to eat this many carbs. And I was like, well, why? Well, you know, the old coach, and I know kind of who the old coach was, and she was like, you know, he told me I can't eat this bread, I can't eat this, I've got to eat this, you know, I can't eat potatoes. I'm like, who are these people? Like, I feel as well, like, you know, in the fitness industry now, I feel like people should be vetted before they start a career.
Oh my God, there's no qualifications. But, guys, carbs are your energy. Like, without carbohydrates, you're going to feel flat. And then, as everybody's then going to say about the keto and high-fat diet, like, it's really hard to put your body into ketosis.
Listen.
Like, I've done it once to bodybuild, and I bloody stank. And it's actually really, really difficult. But your primary energy source is carbohydrates. You're meant to be eating carbs. They're going to give you energy. Your training sessions are going to be better. Your digestive system's going to be better.
Not even that.
You're just going to feel better.
How are you going to live? Like, I remember I was on a keto diet right before I went to Thailand years ago when I was younger. I'd done it like for like, I'd say 8 weeks, right? And I'm not messing. I was so slim. I was depressed. I was down. I was just so negative. My family were getting the worst of me. I was just so down. And I was looking at me like, oh my God, I'm so lean, you know, not holding any water. And then, you know, the minute I got to the airport, I had a fucking Burger King.
And then what happened? You bloated like a balloon.
You just see me on the plane, and then I obviously did a massive long flight to Thailand.
Okay, but then why was that your first choice? Because you'd been restricted on foods that you wanted to eat, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, I can eat them again now.
I'm sitting in Thailand, stuffing my face with the pads, I thinking, what the fuck have I just put myself through?
Yeah, literally.
Why? Not even that. Do I hate my body that much that I have to put myself through that? Yeah. Do I hate myself that much that I had to be so restrictive for the past couple of weeks? So everybody around me's had to be miserable because I felt miserable. And that's the thing, like females, I always think as well, like when females get on the call with us, there's such a massive thing about women feeling shit in themselves all the time. You know, women have to feel depressed. They don't have to, you know, they can't feel good in themselves. They have to feel negative about the body image when realistically it's not like that. No. You shouldn't feel like that about yourself. And I honestly think as well it's from years of diet and even just like Weight Watchers, Slimming World, you know, Juice Plus. Like, who the fuck honestly invented these things where people have to drink shakes rather than eat food?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Like, none of that. So you're saying somebody has got to lose weight through shakes. That there's not a program out there that is cheaper where people can be educated about nutrition. But that's the thing as well. I honestly feel like for you to get the result that you want, you have to invest in yourself, because you're not going to learn unless you have the knowledge behind what it entails you with the lifestyle that you want to actually get the result that you want.
And that literally loops us all the way back around to what we were talking about earlier. The investment is worth it, because when you learn how to do the nutrition, the training, the mindset, the lifestyle, the habits, you've got that knowledge forever. It's like going to university and doing a course. You learn the stuff and then you've got it forever. And I want to tie this episode up there, because I think that's a really, really pivotal point to finish on. When you invest in yourself, you are not just investing in the you now, you're investing in the future you.
100%.
And your family, because once you become better as a person, it impacts your family, your partner, your friends.
Honestly, Katie, right, you know what, that's the thing as well about the job, like, because obviously the job is quite stressful, because you are your client's number one, like, you know, every day you wake up, it's non-stop. The job's a never switch off, but that's the thing that gives us the most gratitude from the job. It's helping people help themselves. Like, you know, some of the wins that we've had over the last couple of weeks, like, we've had females who've come out of domestic relationships, you know, domestic violence relationships, you know, husbands are not faithful, just even like, you know, people aren't being good parents to the kids because they're that depressed. Every single person that comes through our doors has a reason for it, and it's like the fact that you're helping somebody not just lose weight, but the other factors that they are going to achieve when they lose that weight and how they're going to feel is going to project onto their whole life. And the fact is, people don't realise they literally have one life to live. Like, I couldn't think of nothing worse going through my 30s. I'm feeling depressed. I want to live. I'm never getting this time back. I want to live at my best life, and you're probably the same. And I think for us, investing is essential, even for our business. The fact that we've invested on becoming the best type of coaches, we've put a lot of money into investment, even just making our coaching service the best it can possibly be, so we can actually say, you know what, our coaching service is 5-star. We're helping people become a completely different person. So the fact that, you know, we invest so much and we encourage other people to invest. But again, it all, goes down to the fact that people are confused on what coaching is right for them.
Absolutely. And I want to finish there, because me and Luce are going to be recording a couple of episodes. So if you want to hear more of our waffle...
Oh, my God.
look out for the next episode that I do with Lucy, and save and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, and drop Lucy a follow on Instagram at...
Coach by Luce, baby. No, just Coach by Luce, guys. Thanks, guys.
But yeah, thank you.